like going back to the club days where we used to print out flyers and we used to hand them out, and that's how we got people to come. And then slowly we progressed to, we're going to send texts and emails and that type of thing. And we really realized the texts and the emails were the things that were really working. So I kind of matched those two things again together, and I was like, well, if the distribution is free and all you have to have is a great idea and be able to contact these people, then why not just shift everything to digital? There was still a need and a love for having those printed flyers. It was a nostalgia. It was something that you held on to remember that moment. So I likened that to the magazine, but I really wanted to understand much more about how I could create content and put it on platforms so that everyone could see it and it didn't cost anything to do so.
Brilliant. And what about, when did you get into social? Was that time, or was it?
I really got into social when I went to the audience because it was the only publishing structure that we really worked on. So we didn't really work inside of digital per se, in the traditional ways that we think about it, websites and, the creation of video for websites and, the mechanics of, how to create those back-end tools. It was more about using the platforms and populating them with great content. When I say platforms, I mean Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube. It ran the full gamut of all the different tools in the arsenal and places where we could popularize content.
Brilliant. And what about, when did you realize how impactful influencers were going to be? Was that around the...
Yeah. I had an amazing knowledge of influencers. I had an amazing knowledge of influencers having worked at Paper, because Paper's basis and it was all about was, it was about championing the influencer, the person that nobody knew, or the person flying underneath the radar. So in the very early days, it was Basquiat and Keith Haring. And then as it moved into, the 80s, 90s, it was about Africa Bambaataa and the hip hop movement and all of those folks. So it was always about the early days influencers and having them write columns in the magazine, as opposed to, using them as influencers to create digital content. So I had an understanding of how to do that, and we were doing that in the early days at Paper. And then when I saw this opportunity at the audience to really understand how celebrities and also social influencers could create... And then when I saw how we could take celebrities or social influencers and really build out media properties around them, that was so attractive, because we've been doing so much of it, but more on a print side of things. So if we digitize that, what does that look like, and how can it reach more people that are able to just click as opposed to buy?
Really, really good.
Yeah, did we hear that earlier?
No. But what you might need to do is explain that was at the audience, because you kind of chopped that when you redid it. You chopped the audience bit off the front.
Which part?
Just the last sentence that you did about celebrity.
Yeah. So having a real understanding of influencers, I looked at what was at the audience, and that was able to really take digital influencers and celebrities and create media brands around them inside of social. So it was the marriage of those... I don't know what to say.
That's cool.
Okay.
Because you can chop the previous bits together. So.
And then the next stage is moving back to Paper to do this kind of digital transformation. So what was the thing that you were like, what made you want to make a change or make a difference?
I had such an incredible time at the audience, and I loved it because it was innovation at the highest level, and in a sense it was almost ahead of its time. It was doing things that you couldn't even imagine, and it was really, really an exciting time to be in social media mixed with Hollywood. I can't compare. It was, I don't know, it's fabulous. But I really missed New York, and I really missed my friends there, my home base. And, I had lost one of my parents, and my mother was very sick. So I missed that home base of my family. So I grew up at Paper. And so I really missed those people. And